You are watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftacademy.com. www.netsoftacademy.com.
So now let's start with lab number 63. So for lab number 63, we'll first start by creating our Windows Server virtual machines. So I'll click on create a new virtual machine. Next. Install the operating system later. Next. It's going to be a Windows Server 2025 machine here. Next. Now the name would be Nita ADDS01. Now for the location, I'm going to go to Exchange Labs, make a new folder, name it Nita ADDS01, select that file, okay, next, firmware BIOS, next, not changing anything here, next, 4 GB RAM, 4096 MB to be very precise, next, SCSI, next. I'm creating a virtual disk now. I'm not changing anything there. Store this disk as a single file, 320 GB. Next, finish. Now, before I start this virtual machine, I'm going to mount the ISO file on it. So I'll click on Edit Virtual Machine Settings. Click on CD/DVD SATA, ISO file image. Now, I have all of my ISOs in one location. You should have them in one location as well. Makes your life a little bit easier when you are creating machines or you're trying to do something, or even for testing purposes, for that matter of fact. Okay, power on this virtual machine. And you can see that the installation process for this and Windows 11 will be very similar. They'll not be completely different like how we had in Windows Server 2019 and Windows 10. They will be pretty similar and you don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, we are here. Next. I agree everything will be deleted including files, apps and settings. We are installing anyway, so it wouldn't hurt us anyway. Next. Now, make sure to select the data center desktop experience. Otherwise, you will be stuck with the non-GUI element and it will be a little bit painful. Next, desktop experience. Next. Accept. Now we'll look for the disk that we created. So we created the 320 GB unallocated space, remember? And we are going to use that virtual hard drive here. And after this, we'll be asked to install and I click on install. Now installation will take a little bit of time. This will take a little bit of time. So I'll wait for it to complete installation. Once it is installed, then we'll look at the next steps. So my virtual machine has completed its operating system installation. I'll enter the password p@ssw0rd1350. p@ssw0rd1350. So once we are here, now typically I prefer just pushing this Ctrl-Alt-Delete to the virtual machine and doing it. But another way of doing this is also the fact that you can enter Ctrl-Alt-End and it generally works. In case it doesn't work, it could be your function keys not responding, so it's okay. So I log in first. Now, as soon as we log in, we are going to do a few basic compliance tasks. So when I say basic compliance tasks, I mean renaming the machine, making sure that administrator password is properly set, the local administrator password is properly set, the device administrator. Then other things, again, that would make it easier for you in the long run to make sure that it is done easily. Now, one thing that I'll be doing first is I'll be changing the password for the local user. The local user administrator password, I'll be resetting the password or I'll be setting up the new password for that. Once that is done, I will rename the machine, I'll install the VMware tools and then restart the machine. I'll not be doing the restart twice, I'll only be doing it once. So we'll wait for this to show up here. And as you can see, it's the first load up. This will take a little bit of time. Windows Server 2025 gets a lot of its GUI elements from Windows 11 And as we all know, Windows 11 is not really the best of everything that we are working with. And yes, for the sake of continuity, I'm just going to expand my screen here so that it all looks completely separate. And you can see that it is a different thing here. So I'll just wait for this. You can see things are loading up. Eventually, slowly, steadily, they'll load up. Depends on how much system load you have, depends on what exactly you're running. All of those things do matter here. See? Takes a second, takes a second. So in case it is taking a little bit longer for you, don't be too concerned about it. Just give it some time, it will work on its own. Now, once the initial startup happens, you'll only see this once. And remember, all of this happens only the first time that you set up the virtual machine. After that, the Windows Server 2025 does not give you too many problems. So I'm going to click on accept. I'm not changing anything. Normally, I would be a little bit skeptic and I would just change everything just to say, okay, I don't want this. I'll click on don't show this message again and close this. Now, right click on start, click on device management, not disk management, device management or computer management. To be more precise, computer management. When I say device, it's in my mind, it's computer. That's the only thing. So just let it start up. And yes, it will feel a little bit slow. That is part and parcel of what we are doing here. So I'll expand local users and groups. Users, oh, I went for groups. Users, administrator, right click, set password. And you'll see that you're logged in as the administrator, all of this. So that is okay. Click on proceed. P at SSW0RD1350. P at SSW0RD1350. Now, the reason that we are doing this is just to make sure that we have the right password. We don't forget the password. We don't do anything without understanding what we're doing. All right. So next thing, so there are multiple ways of doing this. Remember, there are multiple ways of doing this. I prefer the way that is the easiest. That is go to server manager, click on local server. And then you will be able to change the virtual machine name by just clicking over here on the computer name. Alternatively, you can open the file explorer. Right click this PC, click on properties. Right click this PC, click on properties. Now, remember it is slow because in the background, Windows is still loading up its services. So a lot of the things that we see are because Windows Server Manager is taking up a lot of space here. And once you open this, you can just click on domain or work group, change, and you can change it. It's the same thing no matter where you go from. So I'm going to go from here. Since I'm already here, Nita ADDS 01. Okay. Now, once this says that it is good to go, then I will start my VMware tools installation. Okay. Close. Restart later. Right click, install VMware tools. Now, the only reason why I start my VMware tools installation before I do anything else is because I just don't want to restart my system multiple times. I just want to do it once and get it done with. So we can actually have some time put away for other things, other tasks. Right, I'll just be waiting for the autoplay to start. Run setup. And the reason why I'm installing VMware tools is because then it gives me the ability to copy paste, the ability to drag and drop. It gives me ability to copy between virtual machines. Otherwise, I will be stuck typing everything or doing everything manually and not being able to copy my commands or copy anything else which I would have formatted or any text that I would have formatted myself from my notepad or from other sources into this virtual machine. And that is something I want to avoid at any costs. All right, so once this is done, finish. I'll say yes, restart your system now. So I'll manually restart it now. Now I'll wait for it for a second to restart. And once it restarts, then we will move on with the next steps here. Okay, so my system has restarted. I'm going to just push the command here, p at ssw0rd1350. Right, log in. Now, once we are logged in, we'll start by doing 3 tasks. Number 1, change the IP address. Number 2, disable the firewall. And number 3, install ADDS and promote this server to a domain controller. After that is done, this system will restart again. Now, another thing, and this is just on a completely different side note, that I like doing personally is I click on settings because my machine is already powered on, it's already connected, it's already connected to the power outlet. I just go on power, and this is for me. This is for me because I don't like to keep messing around with this. I just say turn off my screen set to never. That's it. This is so that I don't have to worry about once I'm logged in, I'm logged in. I don't have to worry about switching back and forth and having to go through the entire steps. You can do this if you want. Ideally, it is not necessary, but it is a good idea to be doing this. So first things first, I'll click on local server on the server manager. So now we'll start with the first task, that is configuring the IP address. So local server, click on Ethernet 0. And as you can see that this is just, you can see the slow loading bars here. That is the only reason why it feels slow. Otherwise, in reality, it isn't that slow. It is pretty efficient in doing a lot of things. Right click, properties, Internet Protocol version 4, use the following IP addresses 172.16.10.10. So generally it gives you two 255s, but we are going to go for 3 255s. Okay, 172.16.10.1 is our gateway, and our preferred DNS server is 172.16.10.10. Okay, that is done. Okay. All right, this is good. Now, the next thing that I'll do is I'll click on Tools. I'll click on Tools and select Microsoft Defender Firewall with Advanced Security. Now, under this, I will be just turning off all the 3 profiles for the firewall: the domain profile, private profile, and public profile. Properties, firewall state for domain profile off, firewall state for private profile off, and firewall state for public profile will also be off. Apply. Okay. And you can see it right here that everything is now off. It's okay. Next, I'll click on dashboard, select add roles and features. Next, role based or feature based installation. Next, make sure that it is connected to net. And right here, now, this is one of those places where if you have made a mistake, you will be able to find out, and this is where you can recorrect it. So you can see that my virtual machine name has one less D. So it is basically, instead of ADDS, it is ADS. So if I want to change it, I can click on this and I can just add one more D here. Okay. And this will just restart my machine. It will not change any of the settings I'm changed all over. It will not do anything other than that. Now, the reason why I'm doing this and I'm making sure that my machine names and everything are properly there is because I do not want problems in the future. And as you can see that even I make mistakes every now and then. It is a very common thing. So it doesn't hurt to double check. Make sure that you're double checking every single aspect to just keep your entire experience of working with these labs a little bit pleasant and easier to manage. Otherwise, you will feel that you're getting a lot of errors and a lot of problems while doing the labs, but in reality, it is mostly because you're missing 1 or 2 steps here and there. And trust me, a lot of times this has happened with a lot of us, including me. It has happened half a dozen times or more in just this year, that the lab book is all correct, but I missed a step, so I am now suffering for it. I can figure out where I'm missing things, but if you can't, and I believe you can as well, but just in case you can't, make sure to double check. All right, so I'll just need a minute for all of this to again load up. Next, role based or feature based installation. Next, making sure that my machine name is all correct. Next, Active Directory domain services, add features. Next, nothing to add here. Next, no changes here. Next, and install. Now, I'll wait for this installation to complete. Once it is completed, then we will be able to promote the server to a domain controller. And that is the part that we are going to focus on the most. So as you can see, my installation is done. So let me quickly close this, click on the flag here, promote the server to a domain controller. Now add a new forest. My forest name is going to be netsoft.com. Now just make sure to double check the names just in case that you are not on the right names here. Okay, so sometimes you don't want to have names that are very unique or that are similar. So one of the biggest problems is a lot of people assume that NetSoft, let us say we take this, nita.com and nita.local. They are two different domain names, yes, for us. But for the computer, it is not two different names because the .local, .com, .net, .whatever is a different part. It just specifies what type of network or what type of organization it is. But the first name, the FQDN name, it connects back to a different IP address, and that is where it gets confused. When you try two domains with the same name, nita.local on one and nita.com on the other, it creates a conflict when you try to connect them together. And that is what we need to avoid here. Next. So make sure your names are completely independent. Now this is all very next stuff. So you enter the DSRM password. You just keep going next until the very end, and until you get to install the application part. So that is easy now. So our NetBIOS domain name is going to be NetSoft. That's good to know. And you can see that overall the process is similar to how previous operating systems and everything else was. And it is also similar to the previous labs that we did, except for the fact that we have changed the domain name. Now when I click on install, the installation will start here, and when the installation starts and it will restart the computer. This will take a little bit longer than normal, but once it is done, we will log in and ensure that everything is in place. So now I'll just wait for this to restart and start all over again, and then we will look at the next steps. So now my virtual machine has restarted. You can see that the VMware tools are still processing what is happening in the background, but that is not going to be a problem for us. We are going to just log in. The very first indication that we have that this is a domain controller is the fact that it says netsoft /administrator. And that only happens when this is a domain machine or domain joined machine or a domain controller. Now, this is just a VMware issue. It's just a VMware tools issue. You don't have to worry too much about it. A simple restart can fix it. Now, because if I right click here, you can see I have reinstall VMware tools. I already have VMware tools. So it should not be that big of an issue for me personally. Now, once this is here, I click on local server. And I want to make sure of a few things here. First, the name of the machine, nita-adds01. Second, the domain, netsoft.com. The IP address, and my firewall status is off. Now, one thing that I'll do is I'll right click on the time settings here, and you can see that it's all just a little bit slow to load up. That's it. Nothing else to worry about. It's just a little bit slow to load up. Now, I want to change the time setting so that it matches the current time in my location at the moment. Adjust date and time. So we right click here and click on adjust date and time. Or you can go to settings and go to time and everything. Now, once we are here, I'll set it to -5, that is Eastern time. And if I do this, you can see that it is automatically adjusting the time. Now I'm going to set it to automatically adjust for daylight savings and everything. And that concludes our lab here. So we created the virtual machine, we installed the operating system, then we promoted this to a domain controller, and we adjusted the time and everything. Now, Whatever happened in the middle, that is the VMware tools not working or not starting properly, whatever can be fixed with a simple restart. So I'll just be restarting this machine at the end of this lab here. And then from the next lab, we'll be looking at the next few steps. Thank you.
Thank you for watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftakademy.com. www.netsoftakademy.com.